Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Coffee's Conversations and Keepin' It Real. I'm your host, Philip Marcel, with my co-host here.
Trina George.
And we have a special guest today, Kara Winslow, the makeup artist.
Hi, you guys.
The hustler. We're going to talk a lot about her grind and everything. Thank you for coming, Kara.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me on air with you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're very excited. We knew we had to have you. Even when we first started, we was
Absolutely.
like, Kara must be on.
Yay, I like that.
Kara was doing my makeup. I was like telling Phil, we got to have Kara on.
Yes. And I was like, book her.
We're here. I love it.
Yes. Now, it's not foreign to me, but it is foreign to some people.
Yes.
Because when you introduce yourself, whether we're in a networking group or in a function, people don't know what a makeup artist is or does. So please tell us, what do you do? Who are you? What do you do?
What do I do? What does a makeup artist do? Well, that was even a question to me because I did not mean to become a makeup artist. I didn't know it was a job. When I first started doing this, I thought the only way you were a makeup artist was if you lived in New York, LA, Miami, or you were working at the kiosk in the mall. And I knew those weren't really what I was doing. But what I am is I'm a freelance on-location makeup artist. My job is to make sure that people are camera ready, whether it is to be on film, whether it's to be in photos, whether they are appearing on stage and they're going to be documented. My job is to get them camera ready and make sure that they look good on camera. Because especially now with HD cameras, it jacks people up. So I am there to make sure that they look their absolute best while in these environments. So yeah.
So HD is real because it reveals a lot.
It really does. It basically takes everything good about yourself and hides it, and everything that's bad and like illuminates it.
Pretty much.
So you have to kind of paint their face to get it ready for the
I
HD.
do.
Okay.
And so it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, even children. What the camera does is it changes you so much. Like, it amplifies all redness in the skin, which if you have a lot of redness in your skin, it makes you look older. It makes you look like you're sick. It makes you look like, you've been drinking too much. And that's not obviously what people usually want to portray. So I have to go in and neutralize that, how to make their eyes pop, how to, make all of that happen.
Yeah. And we're not talking about Bozo the Clown.
No.
Frosty the Clown.
No.
From the Simpsons. None of that. We're talking about real people who need to be on camera in front of the photo shoot, television show,
Exactly.
everything like that. How did you get started in makeup? Because you're independent, and you always were independent, right?
Yeah, I have been a freelance makeup artist all the way through, but I didn't mean to do this. I was working in theater, film, and television, and I was working a full-time job in theater, which I thought was my dream job. Only thing is it was my nightmare. I was crying every day. I was puking on my way to work. I was making $1,700 a month. And trying to live on that, working 60 to 80 hours a week. And I was miserable. And
that's hard to make it in Gaines, Vegas like that.
Can't. You really can't.
Yeah.
Because we're here in Gaines, Vegas, David.
There was no way to pay my bills on that. So while that was happening, I was actually cast in an independent film. And I showed up the first day, and the makeup artist had a bag from CVS. And I'm allergic to most makeup. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, nope, we're not doing that.
That's not going to work.
I might break out in hives. My face might swell up. Like, this is not happening. And so I went to the director and producer and said, hey, can I do my own makeup? Yeah. About 3 days into filming, she stopped showing up. And they came to me and asked if I would jump in and help. And I was like, yeah, sure, not our problem. The director was cute. Why not? I did.
The paid makeup artist.
Like, at that point, I wasn't paid. Like, I was just volunteering because, the director was cute. Really, that's why you do these things when you're 25. So I did that. Didn't think anything of it. About 8 months later, I was cast on Home Shopping Network as a spokesmodel for a cosmetics line. And again, I thought, cool, I get to go be on TV, play with makeup. They're going to pay me. What more can a girl ask for? I ended up actually being with that line for 10 years. But then about a year after that initial film, I got a call from the producer who was brothers with the director. I had briefly dated the director. It did not go well. Shocking. Actress, director, not a good combo. But he said he gave my number to someone, but wouldn't tell me who it was. And I was freaking out because I thought he was trying to set me up on a date, because why else was he giving my number out to people? And the next day I got a call from MTV. And MTV hired me to be the head stylist and put together a styling team with myself as the makeup artist for an Axe commercial. I thought I was being punked, especially when they said we were filming at the bar Balls. I really thought I was being punked. And I went and did it. And again, I was like, okay, this is a one-time blip on the resume. This is never going to happen again. Who does this for a living in Gainesville, Florida, of all places? But it kept happening and kept happening and kept happening. And all of a sudden, one day, I was sitting at my desk at my real job, and the phone rang, and it was the city of Gainesville informing me that I owed them money for a business license. And I went, excuse me? I'm sorry.
Right.
What are you talking about?
What are you saying? So I realized I was
That's
like,
got to be a rarity.
right?
I mean,
Who does that?
That doesn't normally happen.
I don't know how they found me. I don't know how it occurred. But I realized I was like, if the city of Gainesville thinks I own a business, maybe I should like focus on it. So I ended up quitting my job 7 years ago. I had no money in my bank account. I had no savings. My credit cards were maxed out because, like I say, I was making $1,700 a month.
Yes.
And I just
Trying
quit
to
my job.
Piece it together.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you knew me, Phil, when
Yes.
I literally did not have the money to get to shoots to get the gas in my car. Like,
Yes,
I
I
couldn't pay for
remember.
gas. But I made a leap. I literally just
You
quit.
took that leap of faith.
I did. And now here I
love
am.
it.
7 years later, I
Uh-huh.
have this as a full-time job. I'm officially like an LLC. I have my car wrapped. I bought a house. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
There's still times where I'm like, ooh, how am I going to pay that mortgage this
Right.
month? But we are in a million times better place than I was
Yeah.
before I did that.
Yeah. How did you feel before, just as you were thinking of making that leap? What were those days like? Like you were.
It was bad.
Oh.
I was literally crying every day that I left work. I was puking on my way to work. I would have to leave partway through the day, and I would go and I would sit at Mochi. I wouldn't get any food because I couldn't afford it, and I would just sit there and I'd cry. I'm pretty sure the chicks at Mochi thought I was like completely insane. But
Oh my
it had
gosh.
gotten
Wow.
so miserable at my job that I wasn't functioning, and I hadn't had a vacation in 5 years. The only time I took vacation days was to take other jobs because I had to supplement my income somehow.
Yeah.
And what did you do? Like, what other jobs were you?
I
picking
would.
up?
Well, that's when I was doing Home Shopping Network and
Okay.
picking up
Okay.
gigs as a makeup artist. Because
Okay.
that started a couple years,
Yeah.
before I left, and I was terrified when it finally hit the breaking point where I knew I had to quit. I took a week off from work. First time I'd ever taken a full week off.
Yeah.
And I went around to every photographer and every wedding vendor I could get in touch with and make an appointment with and said, I think I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
What do you guys think? Will you guys back me? Will you guys support me?
Yeah.
And every single one said, we've got you
Yeah.
and we will help you. I was also very fortunate because I was in junior league and the ladies of the league really put their arms around me.
That's cool.
One helped me find a part-time job to sort of help me supplement at the beginning. They referred me to all their friends. They got me, all sorts of different gigs, and really put their wings around me. Because I thought I was going to lose everything. I really thought I was going to be homeless. When you have no money in the bank account, you have no
Yes.
startup capital, you have no savings, and your credit cards are maxed out, and you decide to
And it's
quit
just
your job.
you?
Yeah.
It's
there
just
was,
you?
I had no fallback. I didn't have parents that could support me. I didn't have a spouse. It was just me
Yeah.
with no safety net.
That's real.
Yeah,
That-
that's real.
That is real.
Um,
Very real.
And it was tough. I didn't know always where I was going to get my next meal. I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay my $450 a month rent where I lived. Phil, you saw where I lived.
Oh gosh.
It was a
I
little
remember
scary.
that
I had
spot.
cops drive through every night. I actually had a drug dealer who kept an eye out for me. It was
You was in the
little
trap.
strange. Yeah.
You was in the trap.
Yeah.
Trap house.
So it was scary. But it's the best decision I ever made. But I hustled
You
nonstop.
had to. Good gosh.
Nonstop.
Yeah. You just have to hustle.
Yeah.
Taking that leap of faith, that
Yep.
was like your sign when all those ladies took you under their wings.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel very blessed that I had so many people who supported me, and who helped me, and who were there to just put their arms around me and say, "You are going to be able to do this. We have faith in you," because they kept me going through those moments where I didn't know what I was going to do next.
Right.
It was scary.
Goodness gracious.
So going through all of that, who is your biggest supporter now?
It's kind of funny. I think I have to be my biggest supporter.
Okay.
Yes.
I love it.
Because if I'm not, I'll lose all of it.
Yeah.
But I'm very fortunate that I have amazing people in this town who do support me, whether it's photographers, production companies, marketing companies who like literally put their sort of like trust in me. I have got multiple photographers who've literally built me into their packages, and say, this is who we use. If you get this package, she's automatically included. That's amazing to have that type of faith from another professional that they trust your work to enhance their work that much.
Yes.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How did you build your skills in those early days? And even now, I know you're still always perfecting, learning, but how, like, even for people upcoming, you know, like, how did you build your skills? Being you had a full-time gig, but still transitioning out, but... Well,
and my training is very, very different. So being that I am an on-location freelance makeup artist, I did not go through cosmetology school.
Yeah.
If I worked in a salon, I would have to have done that. However, they don't really teach makeup that much in cosmetology school anymore. My training initially came from theater school. You are required to learn makeup in theater school. I took workshops, I took classes, the whole 9 yards. As soon as I started realizing that I was going to do this more, even before I knew I was going to be a makeup artist, when I was working in theater, I was able to get what is called a MAC Pro membership, where MAC Cosmetics actually trains professionals in the industry with master classes. So I got involved in that very early on and started taking their classes around the country. I've taken them in Atlanta. I've taken them throughout Florida.
Oh, so you had to travel to go.
I had to travel to these classes, which when I couldn't afford to go to a shoot, traveling up to Atlanta to take a class that cost money on top of it was definitely challenging. And then also with being on TV, when I was on air on Home Shopping Network, we had to literally go on TV with no makeup on and put our faces on live television. And we would get new products constantly. So that was a constant learning because I had to literally be able to go on TV, put my makeup on and talk about it on live national television.
Yeah.
You can't mess up.
No.
It's live.
That's right.
And you got to sell that product. So my training was very, very different. And my initial training started all the way back in high school before YouTube and all of that. I got
right,
all of
people, I mean,
because that's all the girls do now.
Yeah, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
There was no YouTube. There was no social media. So I learned from, there was a makeup artist called Keepin It Real who was a world-renowned makeup artist. He was one of the first makeup artists to really become famous as a makeup artist. And he had books. And I would sit in front of the mirror for hours practicing what I learned in those books. So that's how it started. Then it went to theater school.
Reading.
Yes,
oh my.
Reading.
Fundamental. Oh my gosh.
And it was great because the book, like when you're watching a YouTube video, you have to rewind.
Yes.
If you're reading a book and it's going through it step, like I could sit there and just keep practicing it over and over and over again. That book is covered in makeup, but those books got me through initially.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So years of training, and I'm still constantly like taking master classes. I take my girls who work with me to the master classes with me now, and we also I'm constantly looking at source material and studying what other makeup artists are doing because I always want to be on top of it. I don't want to fall behind the times. And once you get up top, you have to work even harder to maintain, which means I'm constantly studying other people's work to pick up ideas and techniques and things like that.
Now you said your girls, you have a team.
I do. I have, so they all work for me freelance as well. So they're not officially employees.
Right.
They don't work for me full time, but I bring them on when I need them.
Real bosses don't have employees like that. Real bosses make other bosses.
That is true. And that is actually so true.
Amen to that.
So I have Kayla, who's been with me for a couple years now. She is fully trained, takes weddings. She's been taking weddings and individual clients now for almost 2 years. And then I have Kylie, who I am training up right now, and who will be taking clients this year as well. But yeah, it's funny that you say, real bosses make future bosses. And that's literally like one of my dreams. I would love to see my girls start their own company one day. See that next generation continue with it. And then I'm also fortunate because I have a close relationship with another makeup artist here in town. She's not officially on my team, but when I need extra help, she is kind enough to always jump in and rep my brand, even though she has her own brand, which is amazing to be able to have a partnership with a fellow makeup artist. And it's not a competitive relationship. It's we really work to help each other.
So there's so many different faces out there.
Yes.
Like, you know, I'm sure you have to have good lighting. Like, how does that all work? I mean,
so that very first gig with MTV, they, like I say, put me up in Balls, the bar on campus, where there was no lighting. My lights were literally neon bar lights. So like the Budweiser sign.
Oh, snap.
So all of my lighting was that. And I figured out pretty quickly that if I can make it work in that lighting, I can make it work in any lighting.
Yes.
So many of the people I work with rely on lighting hardcore. I know for myself, I don't have control over it. That's one of those things. Before we got on air, we were talking about not being able to control everything. That's just not realistic. And for me, lighting is one of those things. I would love to have perfect lighting every time I do a client's makeup.
Inside, outside,
it doesn't happen.
No matter what. No.
Exactly. And so that first gig at Balls, like I had horrible lighting. I did a shoot one time, and it was an outdoor shoot that they wanted to do a sunrise shoot, and it was by a river. And they didn't think about the fact that we were meeting before the sun rose. So it was dark, and we were in the middle of like a forest with a lake or a river or some body of water, and no lights. None. There was nothing around. We were in the middle of nowhere. So they literally had to take every car and angle it towards me with headlights. Yeah. And every headlight was a different temperature.
You right?
So like I like literally depending on where I stood by her, she was totally different looking. So I have to learn to make that all work, no matter what the lighting is. I have no control. I have done makeup in the middle of the forest. I've done makeup in the middle of a cow field. I do farms, ranches, ranches and farms. I have been chased by a cow while doing makeup. I am used to any type of work environment. So I would love to have a controlled space. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. That's where you get the props on location. It's
in the
unpredictable.
practice.
Yeah.
I mean, you get real practice.
I get real practice. Like, it is non-stop learning because I'm always thrown into some sort of bizarre situation. I never know what I'm walking into as a makeup artist. I never know who I'm working with. I don't usually know, like, what skin tone they are, what age they are. Sometimes I don't even know what gender they are when I go to show up for a gig. I just have to be prepared for anything.
Right. Goodness gracious.
All these... You know, I see all these teens and they're, you know, on YouTube doing makeup, the makeup tutorials. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yes. My daughter does them. Okay.
Does she give them or she does them?
She films herself. We bought a little tripod and she's got the whole thing going on. I love it. Yeah. So, you know, when you go to these events or, you know, whatever, I'm sure these kids are like looking up to you. You know, do you mentor any of them or?
So I get phone calls a lot from parents who want me to have their children come work with me. The problem is logistically and liability wise, I really can't for most of the stuff I do because I do everything on location. If I was working in a salon, they could totally shadow me, but I'm not. I'm going into people's homes. Right. Or I'm going on set, and oftentimes the sets are closed so I can't have people around. And if I'm going into someone's home, it's not appropriate. Also, I do a lot of like boudoir shoots where I'm working with women who are half naked. Right. Again, I don't want to be bringing a minor with me to these situations. So I don't really have the opportunity to have people really shadow me. With that being said, I am always more than willing to meet with girls at Starbucks or someplace and sit down and talk. And I will be completely honest with them. I'm very straightforward. I'll tell them the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, and let them know what it's really like. Exactly. Because it's not an easy job. And you have to put a lot into it to be successful. You have to run it like a real business. It's not a hobby. You have to put a lot of money into it. I mean,
I see just millionaire makeup artists on social media all the time.
That's all of it. We're all millionaires.
They're killing it.
But that's, I mean, you put in a lot of money to start doing it because it's, you know, say you're doing film. You buy one really expensive camera, some lighting and all of that, and you get to use it for years. With makeup, you go through it. I go through a primer every week, sometimes every couple days. Now it only is $30-something, but if I'm going through that, that's just one product every couple days.
Yes.
Right.
I'm going through product like a crazy person. And I have to use disposable things to keep things sanitary.
Right.
So it costs a lot to get started as a makeup artist and then to maintain that. And then sometimes you don't get paid for 30, 60, 90 days after doing a gig, depending on the company you're working with, you know, and all these different factors. So I talk about that with them, but then I also talk about how it really is the most fun job ever. I mean, I get to make women feel beautiful. Who wouldn't want to do that every day? So, you know, I do that when I talk with young people interested in getting in the business.
How do you keep out there with your business as far as like?
I hustle nonstop. I am always on the go.
You know how to get the bag.
I do.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I have made a point of, for me, I knew the job that I had could be easily seen as the hired help. And I never wanted to be treated that way. So it has been very important for me to be seen as a peer to my clientele. It also was very important to me that this was my full-time job. This isn't my hobby.
Right.
So in order to do that, I have been very, very involved in the community. I am part of a lot of different organizations. I go to as many community events and fundraisers as I possibly can, so that I'm constantly shaking
in front
hands.
Of people.
Exactly. And then I do a lot of marketing. From day one, I did a lot of marketing, whether it started with social media, working with magazines so that I get my advertising in there, writing articles for magazines, sponsoring events, donating to silent auctions, so my name is on that, and just being as involved as possible. Now getting a car wrap, that has been like the ultimate, because now everyone sees that I'm everywhere.
We'll put that on the screen.
All the selfies taken with Kara's car.
Yes, please take a selfie with my car. I love it. Tag it.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I've just stayed. Unfortunate, not fortunate that I am, you know, I'm single. I don't have children. I don't have the burden of having to work with anybody else's schedule.
Right.
So I can be out there 24/7, constantly pumping my business.
And that's cool. Where's your business going in 2019?
Oh goodness, I don't know. I see I feel like I'm right now on sort of the cusp of something big happening. I don't know what that is. It's odd because the past 4 months have been very slow for me. I'm actually like literally at the slowest month I've had in probably 3 years. But already next month is projecting to be one of the largest months, and we haven't even hit it yet. And I feel like things are about to start snowballing, and I'm saying, please let this be the universe saying I needed 4 months of break. Not that I just can't pay my bills, because things are about to happen. But I feel like we're going in a really good direction. I've been known for a long time as makeup artist for weddings. I want my business to be more corporate and commercial. So I feel like that's beginning to really go in that direction.
That's cool.
I feel you know how you just feel it, like I feel it coming.
Despite the trials and stuff that's happening, the storms, because I mean it's about managing storms.
100%. That's what I feel like I'm always doing. Riding the roller coaster and managing a storm at the exact same time.
Business is crazy.
Riding the wave.
Because you really have no control over it.
No.
You have to, you know, my mindset is, you know, be as honest and, you know, as, you know, provide the best service I can. And keep my head up.
Yes.
But beyond that, I have no control.
You just got to have your effort, really.
Yes.
You know, you just have your hustle, your effort, and you just go for it.
Exactly.
Well, cool. We want to thank you, Kara, for coming on. We appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us.
Yay.
And the real deal, the hustle, the grind, everything.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's been fun.
Thank you. Coffee conversations and keeping it real. All right. Thank you.